folks, so it's time to go see how well the 2500 RL Imagine does boondocking. And this is a stock Imagine 2500 RL. We only have one lead acid battery in it, and so many people have said, no, you're crazy if you go out there with just one lead acid battery. We're always up for a challenge, right, Tony Tell? Sure. So we are heading out to the desert east of San Diego, out to a place called Ocotillo Wells. So we have the trailer, we have the one lead acid battery on it, we have the 165 watt solar panel on the top. We do have
and it's raining.
Yeah, and it's raining. We do have a 2000 watt Honda generator that we're going to take with us in case we need extra, charging on the battery.
I mean, if we're going to do this for a year, there's going to be times where we just have to pull over and boondock, so we got to figure it out. It's time to figure it out. I figure like we're figuring it out in a controlled environment.
Oh, yeah. It's only like an hour and a half away from our house, so, I mean, worst comes to worst, we just drag the trailer home.
Yeah.
But let's see how this works.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Sure.
For an hour and a half drive down to the desert?
Sure.
All right, you know what time it is? Time lapse time! Kind of made our own campsite. There was a couple of campsites that had fire rings around them, but then there was just like trash all around the fire rings. So if you're one of those a-holes that comes out and just leaves your trash all over the place, don't do that. If you pack it in, pack it out. You're gonna make me whine, you a-holes. We have an amazing view of the mountains over here, which I'll show you right now. There's clouds above us, which is gonna be so good and so bad. It's gonna be so good because the sunset tonight is gonna be bloody amazing with these clouds rolling over us. It's gonna be not so good because my solar's not gonna work so good. So, might be running the generator a lot. Okay, so here's where we're at. I just ran the generator for about an hour to charge the battery up. I just tested the battery. It's at 12.5 volts. So everything's turned off. We have, as far as the generator goes, it's off. Power's unplugged. We have 2 lights on, and we are snuggling in for the night. All right, we're gonna set the heater at about 65 so that it doesn't run all night long. We have the Furrion 12 volt fridge turned down to the lowest boondock setting?
Yes.
The lowest boondock setting.
By the way, it's still very cold.
Yeah, and it's still like super cold in that fridge. So yeah, we're gonna hunker in for the night and see where we are with battery in the morning. Alright kids, so night 1 of boondocking seems to be a resounding success. So I went out and tested the battery and it was at 12.0 volts. So according to the manual for the trailer, batteries being discharged is at 11.8 volts and then completely dead is 11.65 volts. So we're at 12, so I think we're good. Stop right there. What I said was wrong, and I'm going to say that the Grand Design Owner's Manual was wrong in stating that 11.8 volts is a low battery. Well, technically they're right, it's a low battery, but I've been educated. I want to thank Josh Scott over on the Imagine 2500 RL Facebook group for turning me on to the fact that actually a 12 volt battery, a 12 volt lead acid battery at 12.6 volts, 12.7 volts is fully charged, but it's 50% at 12.06 volts. And on a lead acid battery, again, once you get below that, you're going to start damaging the battery. Okay, back to what I was saying. At this point, it's just time to get some coffee and get the day going. We discovered that there is a separate country from the United States of America just down the road from us, and I'm not talking about Mexico. I'm talking about, oh, this is a mouthful, the United Territories of the Sovereign Nation of the People's Republic of Slowjamastan.
We'll put a link to it.
It looks like it's a guy who bought some property and decided to make his own country.
There's actually a couple of documentaries or short videos on YouTube about it.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll link those as well. So yeah, we're gonna go visit the Republic of Slowjamastan and see what that is. We're off for adventures. Gracie, you ready to go adventuring? You ready? Let's go adventuring. Tell him, let's go adventuring. Slowjamastan is located east of Ocotillo Wells on Highway 78. Aside from having laws against croc footwear, its national animal is the raccoon, and you cannot feed the raccoons tacos. So we're at the border. The gate is kind of right behind us, but the sign says that we have to stop and get permission to enter the country. I wonder if there's a phone number we can call. There is. Put it on speaker and dial it.
Hello, my friend. You have reached the Consulate of the United Territories of the Sovereign Nation of the People's Republic of Slowjamastan in the United States of America. Please listen closely and then make your selection. For all consular services, including visas, passports, birth certificates, and gift certificates to the best restaurants in Slowjamastan, we have so many of them, press 1. For the Department of Foreign Affairs, where we have affairs with foreigners, press 3. And to speak to the Sultan of Slowjamastan, His Excellency Randy Williams. It must be a very important reason, I hope. Very important, not to sell him a car warranty or anything like that. You press number 5.
Apparently you can buy a state in Slowjamastan because there's some signs around here. There was Snookland over there. So this is the state of Donsum Wadi. It says take a penny, leave a penny. If you look down here, people have done just that. Well, that was fun, Gracie. Who would have thought when we left home to go camping in the desert, we would be visiting a foreign land? Thoughts on Slowjamastan, Tony Tao?
Well done. Well done. Applause, applause, applause. Interesting sight to see out here in the middle of nowhere. We like the weird and wacky and creative, and that's weird and wacky and creative all at once.
I like it. Well done.
Well done, Sultan.
Well done, Sultan of Slowjamastan. Well, good morning, kids. It's day 2 of Boondock Adventure. Tony Tao's behind me, but she told me I can't film her because in her words, I look like hell this morning. I think she looks gorgeous, but that's me. We picked the right weekend to test the boondocking on this trailer because it has been cloudy, so the solar hasn't been working very well. It did clear up yesterday, and we got a pretty good charge off. Well, we got a full charge off the solar, but this morning it's cloudy. It's been raining on and off, and our battery, we charged it again last night before we went to bed, but our battery this morning was down at about 11.94 volts, which is definitely below the 50% mark on a battery. So at that point, it's doing some damage to it. I don't know if you have ever been in the desert after it rains, but it smells so good in the desert after a rain. And I think that's because, at least me, and I think a lot of us are used to being in a town or in a city or within civilization. And when it rains, what you smell is that smell of wet blacktop, that smell of wet asphalt. You don't get that out here. You just get this, it's just this amazing smell of the wet earth and some of the sagebrush that's around here. If you've never gone camping in the desert, you need to go camping in the desert. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do today. Maybe go try and find a place to have lunch over in Brawley. But I don't know, we'll figure something out and we'll take you along with us. Day 2 of adventuring was a bit of a bust. So instead, we'll show you the rest of day 1 because, well, it was pretty cool. We headed over to Salvation Mountain, which we've known about for years, but just never took the time to go. And while Tony and I are not all that religious, you have to be inspired by the dedication it took to create this place. Salvation Mountain is located just northeast of Niland, California, and was created by Leonard Knight. Leonard believed that Christianity was a simple proposition based on the sinner's prayer. Accept Jesus into your heart, repent your sins, and be saved. While Leonard passed on in 2014, he did live long enough to see his mountain proclaimed a national treasure by the Congress of the United States. Leonard's hope was that his message of love would be seen all over the world, and people everywhere would show more compassion and love to each other. Yeah, we share in that hope as well. We then headed over to Slab City. The only way to explain this place is that it's 2 parts unbridled, amazing creativity and 1 part Mad Max. The place gets its name from the slabs that were left after Marine Corps Camp Dunlap was torn down after World War II. We're in a place called East Jesus, which is in Slab City. The lady that was
The docent at the Salvation Mountain told us about this place. She said, keep on going for about a mile and you'll find freestanding sculptures. And
I'm so glad that she told us to go to East Jesus, because this place is just amazing. The artwork out here is just odd and different. They have this giant wall of like TVs with a whole bunch of sayings on it that really kind of spoke to me. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick tease of this. Behind us is one of the coolest things in Borrego Springs, and it's a bunch of sculptures, a bunch of rusted sculptures that are all throughout Borrego. So we'll come back down here and do another show, but we're going to tease it with one of the most amazing ones, which is this giant dragon sculpture that's behind us. What do you think of the sculpture?
I always love the sculpture. I always come here when I come down here.
Yeah, Yeah, and there's tons of other ones. There's T-Rexes and elephants and horses and Jeeps and all kinds of cool stuff. We'll do a segment on it. Okay, so last day of boondocking here in the desert. So let's do a quick conclusion on our hypothesis that you can dry camp in a stock 2500 RL with one 12-volt lead acid battery. I'm going to say that's not true. And I'm going to say that's not true because you're going to damage that battery. We did have enough power in the battery to get us through the night. But the first morning, the battery was down to about 12.0 volts. Second day, we were down to 11.94 volts in the morning. And then this morning, our last day here, I was down to 11.8 volts on that battery. So we've done some damage to our lead acid battery. Also, we certainly weren't just depending on the solar. Thank God we weren't just depending on the solar because it was cloudy down here and we weren't getting a lot of solar charging. We did bring with us our small generator, 2000 watt Honda generator. We used that in the morning to bring the batteries back up, and then we used it at night for about an hour and a half, 2 hours before we went to bed just to charge everything. So yeah, the conclusion is one 12-volt lead acid battery is just not going to be enough. I think a lithium battery is definitely in our future. Simply because with a lithium battery, you can take it way below 50%, so we're not going to have to worry about getting it too low. And yeah, it's just, I think that's the solution. I hope you enjoyed joining us down here in lovely Ocotillo Wells in the Southern California desert. If you like what you've seen, if you like the video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, leave us a comment. Let us know what it's like for you if you've camped in the desert or if you've been fighting issues with lead acid batteries. Yeah, that's it. We'll see you on the next one.